Hi, I'm Philip Kakia. I'm 56 years old and I am principal of St Francis Xavier School in Montmorency. In my first class when I was 20, and it's been a long time. It's now been 19 years as a principal, and I'm getting up to that 40 years in education. The position of principal is often an unpopular one. It's a position that not many people are applying for these days. I especially encourage women to step up, and I find that really, really important. I have 7 people on my leadership team at the moment, and I'm the only male. I think it's important that we acknowledge that women have great talents and need to step up into those leadership positions, really going on to principalship and leading our schools. Well, it was interesting because I started at a new school 6 weeks before COVID hit. So here I was trying to establish myself at a new school and establish my expectations with students, with teachers, with the parent community. And we went into a 2-year hibernation with COVID in education. And that was something that no teacher had ever done before, no principal. So nothing that we studied for or prepared for or we learnt about. I'd be planning to take more rests over the next 4 years that I have in the past. Haven't been able to take rests during remote learning for the last 2 years, but it's important again that I look after myself, because if I fall, the rest of the school will fall as well. And it's important that I go out 6 feet on top of the ground rather than 6 feet under the ground. That's really, really important that I look after myself and my health. And like when I left my last school, I look around the school and say, yep, I've done everything I can here. It's time to move on. Maybe I need to start considering my own health and my own work balance over the next couple of years. It'll make me a better principal. It'll make me a better person and a better family man as well.
Delicious sandwich.
Well, there you go. My final video assignment for Media One. So my video portrait interview was of my dad, Philip. I thought that he'd be a very interesting subject to interview, as he had already been a primary school educator for 3 decades and has risen up the ranks from a teacher to a principal in that time. I believe that the most successful aspect of my video portrait was also my most problematic aspect, that being choosing Philip as my main subject. But what do I mean by this? Well, choosing Dad as my main subject was a productive idea, as we were quite close family-wise, so I was fully aware of his work schedule and other commitments. As such, I could effectively plan and shoot the interview as well as B-roll inserts with plenty of time to edit. The fact that I'm pretty close to my dad also gave me a wide range of archival photos and videos to use as B-roll, such as early photos of Dad's first class back in the 1980s, as well as some promotional drone footage of his new school, which he gave me full permission to use under the Creative Commons license. The use of these inserts really helped to convey the narrative evolution, as well as improve the pacing of the interview by reducing the choppiness of each cut. However, choosing Dad as my interview subject was also problematic in some areas. As we are family, it was quite difficult for me to get him to properly open up about any insecurities or feelings of imposter syndrome in the interview, or for me to ask truly deep questions about his core beliefs. Throughout the editing process, I was worried that this restrictiveness may result in a sanitized and inauthentic outlook on his life. However, after different feedback screenings with friends and family, I was told that this was not the case. That being said, upon reflection, if I had chosen someone who I was maybe less closely attached to, like a friend or a more distant relative, I wouldn't feel as though I was restricted in specific areas of my questioning. One learning discovery I made is that insert shots are essential in order to improve the pace and aesthetics of a sit-down style of interview. When I did my rough cut of my interview, I found that a large number of jump cuts were made between different sound bites of Dad, and it was very disrupting, amateurish, and absolutely slowed down the pacing of the edited sequence to a crawl. This result is directly paralleled by Michael Ravage's Conducting and Shooting Interviews, our Week 10 reading. On page 471, Ravages discusses the idea of shooting for ellipsis, saying, "You will need to shoot so you can abridge interviews and editing." In this reading, he reaffirms the phrase shoot to edit and suggests the extra shots or B-roll be filmed to break up one singular interview shot. I took on Rabbage's suggestions and sought out the previously mentioned archival footage, and even took a bus down to the former site of St. John's Catholic Primary School, my father's first school as principal, to personally shoot B-roll footage that reinforced what Dad was discussing in the interview. Implementing these shots in the final edit drastically improved the beats and pacing of ideas being expressed, and ended up being more visually varied and captivating in comparison to one static interview angle. Finally, the main lesson that I learned throughout the production process for this assignment is that it is very important to fully schedule out your projects in advance. At the end of the day, everyone has their own life, jobs, and commitments, so it was very important during this project to recognise not only my assignments and work obligations, but also that of Dad's too. I've heard being a media practitioner is a methodical and organisational trade, so it will be very important to carry these skills into the future as a media practitioner, as poor planning and scheduling can be what makes or breaks a project. So overall, creating a proper filming schedule for my video portrait is good practice for my future media products and development as a media practitioner. And with that, that concludes my reflection on my video portrait project. Thanks again for watching, and it looks like I'm finally done with all my vlogs, so I guess I can just relax. Oh, come on!